we start with hardware, right? That's the easy part of doing asset management because it doesn't have too much complexity. But here we're discovering laptops, monitors, servers, workstations, anything that's on your network that has a heartbeat. But we also have the ability to track assets that are available, that are in spare parts or in your inventory. So they're not on the network, but you still need to track and manage them because you want to manage the life cycle for them.
Yep.
And there's a cost associated with them. So you can see here in the first pie chart, we've got retired, available, disposed, which, there are some companies that when they dispose of assets, they still want to maintain the information because maybe they find out later there's a problem with batteries or something that led to a class action suit. So keeping those records around can still be relevant. And after hardware, what's the next step?
Software, I'm guessing.
Right, absolutely. So software, here you can see we're tracking software. We can track the client software, server software, and even subscription. And this is something that's really exciting here. We have support for Office 365 in this release. And this is where we're going into the Microsoft portal, and we're pulling the information to show you what's a healthy user in your environment, whoever's accessing it. And we can show you where you might have purchased too many instances, whether it's not fully utilized, and that's how you get optimized, right? You optimize your buying by not overbuying.
Yeah, and that's a key part there. And that includes the contract management of the vendor as well. You want to make sure you're in compliance with those requirements. Probably a further step up the attainment model.
Exactly. And when you're in compliance, you also want to look at the life cycle of the software too. So here we have licenses that are expiring in the next 90 days. So if you want to put a life cycle in place, you set up an event and you say this contract's expiring, do you want to renew it? And we have processes built into Asset Central around contract negotiation and renegotiation.
Interesting,
So maybe you don't want to renegotiate, or maybe you do, right? But you want to have the time to plan that and make sure that you can put good judgment and data behind that to make that decision.
And one of the cool things that we've talked about as well, and again, as part of our legacy from our systems management background, is the ability, as Steve Daly talks about, to take action, to do something about it, right? To not only manage and understand what you're using and what you have, but to reclaim that license if necessary, to reach out and actually do something about it. That's a differentiator. I think a few other companies had. I don't know when you were in the analyst world whether you saw that as a missing part of the overall asset strategy.
Absolutely. So one of the things with Asset Central is that it can be sold standalone. It's also available as an on-premise or a cloud solution, and it can integrate in with other tools. So it can integrate in with other client management tools or other service management tools. But the fact that LANDESK has all of this in one solution set that's fully integrated, there's not a lot of complexity involved in harvesting or reclaiming those unused licenses. And this is really important because there's a skills shortage in the market for qualified asset managers, right? Vendors are always changing their licensing agreements, so it's difficult to stay up on top of it, especially the legal licensing. So the more automation that you can have and the less touch that you have to do, you can focus on the strategic things, not the tactical about reclaiming software.